Like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat on the way in. And BGS says, are we on ZPT time? No, sir. I am on time. Obviously. Okay. Um, and thank you for being in here, BGS. Look, BGS, this was good. This was good, and it got Mr. Z so annoyed. Oh boy. Okay. Okay. Hopefully you guys can hear me well. Okay, Z, use your words. Use your words. We're going to try to refrain from profanity. We're going to try to refrain from telling the white woman she don't know what the hell she's talking about, or even scarily, she does know what she's talking about, and she's trying to get men to subsidize women with nothing in return. Okay, let's talk about it. Fine. Um, you know, this lady speaks as if, and we're speaking about, what is her name here once again? Jude Kelly, right? So Miss Jude Kelly um, spoke to the World Economic Forum radio, and she's speaking about, this kind of pushback that she sees coming from the manosphere, and the misogyny and the toxicity, and she kind of pokes fun at these men who claim to want traditional values but yet refuse to protect women. This is that reverse psychology that they think works, but okay, fine. Miss Jude Kelly really, really doesn't appreciate where we are. It's actually pretty insulting, Miss Jude Kelly. It's pretty insulting. Now I'm speaking particularly for black men in America. Um, yeah. So let's get into it. All right. Miss Jude Kelly says throughout this discussion, there's a part where she gets into, and she says, if girls can do everything that boys can do, then boys are kind of in a weird position, or men are in a weird position. Am I still supposed to be the protector? Am I still supposed to, excuse me, the provider? Am I still supposed to strut my stuff? Am I still? The answer is, I can tell you because I'm in the black community in America. The answer is yes. The women are still demanding it, Miss Jude Kelly. Uh-oh. That's the part y'all don't want to actually grapple with, Miss Jude Kelly. The parts of patriarchy that women are invested in, Miss Jude Kelly. The hypocrisy of women, Miss Jude Kelly, particularly heterosexual women. Yes, Miss Jude Kelly, let me say it slow. The parts of women that say, yes, I have my degree and my advanced degree. Yes, I earn enough to sustain myself. Yes, I may not quote unquote need a man, but I want one, and I want one in a better financial and educational position than me. Ms. Jude Kelly, the answer is yes. Even if girls can do what boys can do, even if women can do what men can do, even if they can earn more, even if they have more advanced degrees, they're more college educated. Exhibit A, America. Exhibit B, Britain. Exhibit C, the entire Western world. Huh? It's women saying they're not going to settle, Miss Jude Kelly. You want to know why men are where they are and why you're getting the pushback, Miss Jude Kelly, particularly from the manosphere? It's because we're in the thick of it. We're in the middle of watching women's hypocrisy. This is the one thing that radical lesbian feminists are right about. Women, heterosexual women's hypocrisy. Ms. Jude Kelly. Ms. Jude Kelly, we are not going to subsidize women giving us the middle finger. I know you're from a different country, so let me explain it. We're not going to subsidize, that's working class men, that's working poor men, that's lower middle class men. We are not going to subsidize women's quote unquote autonomy, ma'am. We are not going to subsidize and pay for women giving us the middle finger, ma'am. Absolutely not. And clearly, men from across the developed world are doing the same thing black men in America are doing. Absolutely not. You want your autonomy? Go learn how to fight and get a gun. You want your autonomy, excuse me. You want your autonomy and security? You can have your autonomy, and for your security, go learn how to fight and get a gun because men aren't doing it. Make sure to always have 911 on speed dial. Ms. Jude Kelly, you can intellectualize this as much as you want. You and the World Economic Forum could try to maneuver men to be okay with the majority of them more and more never having sex, rarely having sex, not having children, not having a legacy, no more nuclear family. Only elite men will have that. Have fun trying to socialize young men. As you said, it's really young men. It's really young boys. Have fun trying to socialize them to accept that. Ms. Jude Kelly, that is why it's really young men and boys that are pushing back against feminism. Because they're running into the hypocrisy of women when they're on dates with women, ma'am. Wait a minute, you earn more than me? Possibly. You're definitely more educated than me. And I'm still supposed to not only pay for the first date, but for all of them. And if we do get married, I'm supposed to pay the mortgage. What? Oh, and I'm the one who's supposed to put my life on the line. And I'm the one who's supposed to protect you from other men and quiet as kept other women. So what exactly do you say you do here? What exactly would you say you do here? Is what men are asking. Dear Miss Jude Kelly, you know, your framing of this is all type of horrendous, but fine. Miss Jude Kelly speaks and gets to a part of the conversation where she says she thinks the pushback is because there's a, once again we get into what many people like to do, particularly on the right. It's interesting how many leftists use right-leaning language when they want to, where we get into the silent majority, right, which is men have daughters and they want to see their daughters do well, right? And so I guess, and she's doing the I guess thing, which is there's a silent majority of men that want to see women do well. And so that's where the manosphere comes about, because the manosphere is pushing back against those men also. No, ma'am, the silent majority is not on your side. Stop it. Yes, men have daughters. Yes, men want to see their daughters do well, their nieces do well, their granddaughters do well, their wives do well. Yes, absolutely. But what they don't want is a rigged game where the thumb is put on the scales against their sons. Uh-oh. And their sons are told to shut up about it. Yes, men have sons and daughters. What they don't want is for their son to be put in a foodie call situation. Let me explain to you what a foodie call is, Miss Jude Kelly. A foodie call is when a woman is not actually interested in you. She doesn't find you that appealing, maybe doesn't find you that attractive, but she says yes to the date when you propose a date because of the restaurant you're going to, or because she just wants free food. And yes, that's women that have money to afford their own food and afford to go to that restaurant also. Miss Jude Kelly, either y'all know what y'all doing or you don't. Maybe you miscalculated. Maybe the women like you, ma'am, miscalculated. But just because women earn more and are more educated does not mean they're not still exploiting men. It still doesn't mean they don't engage in quote unquote sexist, patriarchal tactics against men. foodie calls, and that's why I bring it up, and I bring it up often, is an example of that. Oftentimes, it is women who can provide that meal for themselves, who are academically accomplished, who are doing well enough in life. Excuse me, let's say that again. They are doing well enough in life, and yet they still engage in this practice. By 30%, admittedly, that's women admitting to engaging in this practice. So we all know it's at least double. Miss Jude Kelly, this woe is me, women are the victims of men, men are these rapacious, dictatorial, tyrannical people, and the only thing holding them back is a bunch of laws and other men, and women are these hapless, helpless creatures. This narrative does not work. Right? Ma'am, you're correct about the self-deletion rate and how many men and boys are engaging in that now. Right? I noticed you didn't speak about those men deleting themselves after divorces that women initiate in America at least 70%. Oops. I noticed you didn't speak about that part. Huh? Miss Jude Kelly, where men find themselves, black men in particular, is between the system saying and our overall society saying, you're the problem. You are a toxic wannabe patriarch who just wants to lord over women and put women back in the kitchen, barefoot and pregnant, like this is the 1950s. So men are between that position, and then women who are saying, right, that I actually want the shark. I want the corporate monster. I want the shark. Women are saying it through actions, ma'am. Miss Jude Kelly, look at the marriage rate in America. Look at who's getting married. And more importantly, Miss Jude Kelly, look at who's staying married, Miss Jude Kelly, in America. And tell me then that you don't understand why there's a manosphere. Once again, look at who's getting married based off of income and class, and look at who's staying married, Miss Jude Kelly. You want to speak about women and income and class, right? And what they're capable of. Once again, Miss Jude Kelly, look at who's getting married in America and look at who's staying married and use the income and class lens to view those numbers. Is this project about women or is this project about middle class, upper middle class, and elite women, Miss Jude Kelly? Is this really about class, Miss Jude Kelly? Or is this really about the liberation of all women, Miss Jude Kelly? Because if this is about the liberation of all women, Miss Jude Kelly, then why don't the numbers reflect that? Let's say that again. Why doesn't the numbers reflect that? And if this is really about the quote unquote liberation of women and that women are no longer going to be reliant on men, then why is it that the upper classes of women are the ones that tend to be married and stay married to men? Uh-oh. If this is truly about the liberation of women and women no longer being reliant on men out of necessity, then why is it the women that can most afford to not have a husband are the women that are more likely to be married and stay married, Miss Jude Kelly. You wonder why there's a manosphere, ma'am. Madam, you are speaking to the World Economic Forum about the manosphere and about young boys and men engaging with this online space. And why is it younger men are so invested in this narrative? I said it already. It's because they're the ones that are primarily running into the, excuse me, they are the ones that are primarily running into the hypocrisy of heterosexual women and of this society. That is why. They are the ones that are working with these women. They're the ones that are sitting on opposite ends of the table in classes with these women. They're the ones going on dates with these women if they can get a date. They work with these women and they hear and see and experience the hypocrisy of I am woman, hear me roar, and I'm a winter violet and I need help. I'm a damsel in distress, somebody help me. And how easily women can go from one to the other at the flick of a switch. And then how that affects the masses of men, working class men, working poor men, and lower middle class men, ma'am. Millennials and Gen Z, Generation Z, are running into the wall. We're speaking about the men here, are running into the wall of women's hypocrisy and the fact that the overall Western world, the developed world, is telling men to shut up. You didn't see what you just saw. What you think you just saw, you didn't see it. You did not see it. It's a figment of your imagination. It's not real. You're a misogynist. You're a wannabe patriarch. Madam, we will not, let's say that again, we will not subsidize women giving men the middle finger, ma'am. Absolutely not. Absolutely not, ma'am. If women want their autonomy and security, tell them to provide their own security. Provide yourself with your own security. Men will not subsidize your security. Not enough of us anyway. So no, Miss Jude Kelly, that little reverse psychology thing you tried to do, absolutely not. With all due respect, absolutely not. Well, if you were a real man, you claim to want to be a man, so why aren't you protecting? We're not protecting what's not ours. Ooh, goddamn, Z. Tell her to call the police. Tell her to learn how to fight. Tell her to go buy some protection. We will not have patriarchy by feminist specifications, ma'am. You could maybe pull 20-25% of men. You will not get the majority of men. We're not signing up for it. Absolutely not. Nope. And let's be very clear. Most men will not harm women. Most men will not say disparaging things to women, especially not in the black community in America. You know what they will do? Be indifferent to the plight of women, be indifferent to the struggles of women, be indifferent to women needing aid, be indifferent to women and their children that are not attached to those men individually needing help. You want to see the end of social cohesion? Watch it. Am I saying this is sustainable? No, it's not. Am I relishing in this? No. Is this ideal? Absolutely not. But women wanted this, Miss Jude Kelly, and they're going to get all of it. Women want this, Miss Jude Kelly. You will not be able to socialize men to subsidize women. You will not be able to socialize men to protect women just because she's a woman. You will not socialize men to compete against other men, but not compete against women. Absolutely not. If she's in the ring, she's in the fight. If we're all going for that promotion, I don't just compete against the men, I compete against the women who want that position also. And to the best man win. Absolutely not, Miss Jude Kelly. If women want this, they get all of it. This is not ideal. This is not how you sustain a society or community. Absolutely not. Actually, this is pretty damn dangerous. But women want this, so they get it. No more of this on and off patriarchy feminism crap. Absolutely not. And you're framing, Miss Jude Kelly. You're framing. Wait, so the men are not responding to women? So it's a bunch of young boys and men who just want to harm women just because what? Because other men taught them that's the way it's supposed to be? No. These men and these boys are interacting with women and girls, ma'am. These men and these boys are interacting with other girls and women, ma'am, and they're seeing the hypocrisy firsthand. I want to be very clear, madam, particularly in the black manosphere. I'm speaking about the black manosphere right now. We're not going to look for these boys and men. They're coming to us. Uh-oh. They're coming to us because women like you and your male apparatchiks, your male sycophants, black male and white male feminists have lied to them. And when they run into the wall of divorce, when they run into the wall of a woman cheating on them, when they run into the wall of being on the wrong side of a foodie call, when they run into the wall of being in the friend zone, they come looking for us. Because people like you globally lie to them. And they know you're going to continue to lie to them. Thank you, Compassionate Callous. Run into the wall of paternity fraud. Right? The boys, even if they can't articulate it, are in these schools, madam, and they're watching the society put the thumb on the scales against them for the girls. That is why they're interacting with this space, madam. Have fun trying to explain to the boys that it's beneficial for society if we advance the girls over them while the girls make fun of the boys and insult the boys and make sexist quips towards the boys. Have fun trying to explain to the boys why that's okay. And then wonder why they're listening to Andrew Tate. Okay, yeah, that's it. Wonder why they're listening to Fresh and Fit. Okay, yeah, that's it. Huh? The boys are in classes watching the girls be advanced at the detriment of the boys. We'll say that again, Z. At the detriment of the boys. It's not something that's benefiting the boys. Those girls and those boys become men and women, and then those women look down on those men, and you wonder why there's a manosphere. Those women talk down to those men, and you wonder why there's a manosphere. Those women want to be part of upper classes to oppress those men, and you wonder why there's a manosphere. This fight is not for a more egalitarian world. It's for working class, lower middle class, and poor women to become upper class women and then step on men as a matter of their class position. These women are not okay with sexism directed towards women, but they are okay with classism if they can step on men also. I'm black, born and raised in America. Ask me how I know. These women are saying, why is it that the men get to be petite bourgeoisie and we can't? I'm deserving of that position too. Why can't I step on men too? Huh. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. So shout out to BGS for this. Um, I think this is important. Yes, the manosphere has gone global. The black manosphere has different issues, not exactly perfectly aligned with what's going on in non-black spaces. That's why I made sure to make the distinction when needed. Um, Ms. Jude Kelly spoke about man-woman relationship as if women are not invested in paymaster husbands and boyfriends. As if even, and I want to stress, this needs to be emphasized. Mr. Z is always going to bring this up. Women advance educationally, they advance in their career, they advance economically, and they still want and oftentimes demand to have men that are in better positions educationally, financially, socially, politically than they are. So, as much as Miss Jude Kelly speaks, the way she speaks is disingenuous at best. It's disingenuous at best because the women through action are showing you that they don't really mean it. Equality is a joke. Egalitarianism is for the workspace. It's not egalitarian when it comes down to paying bills at the house. And yes, that does affect what happens outside of the home. Yes, it affects what happens on college and university campuses. Yes, it affects what happens in workspaces and environments. Absolutely. right? Rampant misogyny in hip hop. Madam, have you heard female rap? Uh-oh. Right? Rampant misogyny in hip hop. Oh boy. Have you ever heard female rap, madam? Huh. So once again, I've said this often. I've said this to FD Signifier. You know, if we allow for women to make class arguments, right, under the guise of female empowerment, once again, upper class arguments. In other words, I am petite bourgeoisie. I need to be respected and feared as such. I am bourgeoisie. I need to be respected and feared as such. But they frame it as feminist arguments for the advancement of women in a world full of sexist, misogynistic, misogynist, tyrannical, patriarchal, aspiring patriarchal men. Do we then listen and give credence to women just because they framed their aspirations of being in said oppressing classes as female empowerment? Right? Let's say that in a more layman's terms. Why is it that when women speak as if they're on the wrong side of male power, we give them credence when really what they're doing is saying it's not fair that I don't get to step on others the way he does? Compassionate, this is a great quote. And Compassionate Callous says, Z, women in the West are one step away from just saying, quote unquote, if you don't pay for my freedom, I'm willing to hold humanity hostage by not reproducing children. That's coming next. Watch. They're already saying it. They're already saying it. That's literally what Yanni is saying. All of those women you saw me cover um, for the 4B movement the second time, that's what they were saying. They were celebrating the decrease of childbirth and in much of the developed world. And the two white radical lesbian feminists on their podcast actually said it. They said matriarchy. They really mean gynocracy. It's good until y'all make this a matriarchy. It's pretty good that we're holding the birth rate or the population hostage. That's essentially what they said. Compassion. The women that are more advanced in this conversation, they've already said it. Meanwhile, Miss Jude Kelly is playing patty cake with this conversation, and she thinks this is about men trying to oppress women. Meanwhile, the women are saying exactly what you said. You will pay for my freedom from you. What? Or I will hold humanity hostage. Women in quote unquote advanced societies, oh boy, how advanced are you really? Women in advanced societies are already saying what you're saying. It is the Mouse Utopia project or experiment. It is, right? And it's pretty insulting that Miss Jude Kelly is speaking to us at the World Economic Forum as if the men are the problem. No, the women said, thank you for my degree. Thank you for my advanced degree. Thank you for my PhD. Oh boy, we're rhyming. Thank you for liberating me from needing a man. Now I demand to have one that's in a better position than me economically, educationally, and socially. Well, when you look at that, huh? So in advanced economies, in the quote unquote developed world, in the Western world, men are being blamed for women's insatiable appetite for status. Uh oh. Men are being blamed for women's insatiable appetite for one-upsmanship. Men are being blamed for women holding society hostage because they want to be better than the next woman. So men are being blamed, men and their quote unquote supposed misogyny is being blamed for women in their classism and their misandry. Okay, I hear you. I hear you, Miss Jude Kelly. Right? I hear you. Right? Because it's not about what is, it's about perception. Oh, wait a minute. This coming in. What's that? What's that, young man? What? 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 Tell her to pay for these women her goddamn self. Oh yeah, you're right. You're right. This just in. Young men said we're not going. This just in. Young men said we're not paying for them. This just in. Young men said, what's that, Dirk? What? Get it in blood. Pooh Shiesty said, what? Get it in blood. They said, get it in blood, Miss Jude Kelly. Right? What's that, Craig Facts? If I owe you, get it from God? Yeah. Wait, what? What? Okay, yeah, yeah. Huh? So this goading and attempting to coax men, working class men, right? Lower middle class men, working poor men, into being these cute little pliable group of men for women to step on and for women to use as a ladder, that's going to work how now? Right? As BGS says, hit the like button, like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. Right? And thank you, BGS. And thank you for bringing that to the space. Right? I check the World Economic Forum every once in a blue, but thank you, because I would have missed that. I would have missed it because by the time I would have gotten to their page, that video would have been so far down in their list of videos. Yeah, I would have missed it. Right? This idea that men should subsidize women for women to tell men they don't need them. Imagine that. And Miss June Kelly really tried to pull reverse psychology, Uno reverse. Oh, you say you're a real man. Miss June Kelly, I don't know about white men so much or men around the world from different races and ethnicities, but black men in America, yeah, that reverse psychology, it's elementary. It's elementary. Dear black men, part of the black manosphere, the one good thing about being a black man born and raised in America is the level of toxicity that we have to deal with makes what everybody else is talking about child's play, right? What everyone else is talking about around the world with their women and how more increasingly misandrous their women are becoming, it's child's play to us. They're not even at trigonometry yet. They're still doing pre-college algebra, right? We're doing quantum math. They're still doing pre-college algebra. That's why Kevin Samuels was able to out-talk that young white lady on Fresh and Fit years ago, because it was cakewalk, and no white man could have did it. None of them. Not even Rollo Tomasi. None of them could have did what Kevin did. Huh? Because the misandry that we have to deal with in the black community makes everything else look like a joke. Right? Exhibit A, all the black women celebrating what's going on in South Korea with the 4B movement. Right? And Detroit says, don't need us, but need our taxpayers, need our tax dollars. Right? And Detroit also says, don't need men, but need men's resources while they out the country. I'm saying. Right? Huh. So we will not accept this. And so to Miss Jude Kelly, yeah, I guess you're going to meet with or have conversations with important world leaders, different corporations, international conglomerates, et cetera, and try to find ways to squeeze money out of men, to socialize you boys and men, to subsidize women, even if the women are not literally attached to them or in relationship with them. Whether even if these women are not in intimate relationship with these men, it might work for people outside of America, particularly outside of the Black American community. It might work, but this little 13% of Black Americans, yeah, not. Right? Absolutely not. Huh. Imagine that, yo. We are really in the era, and this was to be expected. Um, if you recall, and I actually should put the literature and stuff in the description box for this live later. Jason Black covering the article that said, detoxifying the manosphere, and it's these kind of weird white dudes, right, attempting to make whatever sort of masculinity they got going on, the cool masculinity, yawn, right? So they're gonna attempt to astroturf the manosphere, and it's all. Let me say this: I said this I've been saying this for a while. It's all an attempt to get men comfortable with subsidizing women who you are not sexually and intimately attached to. Through your tax dollars, through your literal own disposable money, through your presence, through your physicality. It's really about men that women don't actually find appealing and attractive standing in the gap for women. All of this, they're going to bring in so many of these weirdo dudes, and it's in an attempt to astroturf grassroots manosphere movement. And it's all going to culminate in, but a real man. Okay, you're talking all this real man stuff. You know what a real man will do? He'll protect women that he's not attached to, just because he's a man. Okay, fine, I'll give you that. You want to do the patriarchal thing, the man thing? Here's what a real man is. A real man will take care of Keisha and her 2, 3, 4 kids from 2, 3, 4 different dudes. Uh-oh. You know what a real man will do? A real man take care of Consuela that's coming over the border with her 2, 3 kids. That's what a real man will do. Aren't you a real man, black men? You know what a real man will do? A real man will watch a woman initiate an argument and maybe even a fight with a man. Let's say that word again. Initiate. You got to say that because people are going to skew what you're saying. A real man will watch a woman initiate that. And when it turns physical, a real man will put his life on the line to protect that woman. That's what a real man will do. Right? That's what a real man will do. Huh. A real man will still open doors. A real man will still pay for dates. A real man will still pay and get caught up in foodie calls and be on the wrong side of foodie calls and make no issue of it. That's what a real man will do. Right? Hmm. So to Miss Jude Kelly, have fun getting men to accept this. So black American men are like, no. South Korean men are like, no. Uh-oh. Let's see where else in the world. Chinese men are like, no. I want to be very clear. Men don't have to pass laws. This is not about passing laws to make women, quote unquote, bow to men. We don't need that. Men's indifference is all we need. Right? Men's indifference is all we need. That alone. Right? Huh. To have someone who, she says she organizes these kind of meetings with women and whatever men throughout the world. So she goes around the world, I guess, doing these organizations, these panels, speaking about the advancement of women, and obviously men are invited also. And she attempts to appeal to the sensibilities of fathers. But madam, fathers have sons too. Fathers have sons too. ma'am. Fathers have sons and daughters. One of the most open kept secrets right now is boomer men kind of did give their daughters the reins of power over their sons. That's why we are where we are, ma'am. Oops. Yeah. What's the point of women leadership if all we're going to get is a bunch of Hillary Clintons, Sheryl Sandbergs, and Elizabeth Holmes? Yikes. Huh? What's the point of female leadership if we're going to get Kamala Harris, right? And Sarah Palin? Huh? And Sarah Huckabee Sanders, yawn, looking like her dad. Huh? What's the name of the Arizona governor that had her finger in Barack Obama's face? Huh? We're not talking about Angela Merkel here or Dilma Rousseff or Golda Meir. Nope. We're talking about Sarah Palin. Oh boy. Huh? We're not talking about Condoleezza Rice. Right? We're talking about Simone Sanders. Oh boy. So yeah. What Miss Jude Kelly refuses to speak about is women's investment in this so-called toxic patriarchy. Right. Thank you, Mr. Shook to you. Mr. Shook to you says empty dresses. Joy Reid, that's another one. Right. Huh. And KMS says, and thank you for the super chats. KMS, and we're going to leave this up for a little while. KMS says, the fatal flaw in technocrats' terraforming plan is that a man is eventually going to want something tangible from a woman, and duty, me, and some Starface adult fun isn't cutting it. A real man would do something for nothing. Oh boy. Exactly, right? Exactly. And that's the framing. Right? That is the framing. Imagine living in a world. Miss Jude Kelly is living in a world where women are literally saying, provide, protect, and shut up. Did you hear me, Miss Jude Kelly? Women are literally, like we have it on film. This is not something you overhear and it could be a man messing with a voice recorder and pretending to be a woman. No, 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 no. This is women overtly saying, protect, provide, and shut up. We have it on camera. You can see her face. You can see her lips moving. You know it's her. We have other women saying, if I earn more than you, I will belittle you. Once again, we have it on film. She literally said it. It's a real woman. We have women celebrating women like Shira 7 and her antics. Saying women, Shira 7 found her way through patriarchy and she's making patriarchy work for her. That's women's backwards way of saying, yeah, we found ways to milk men in the system they created for the advancement of them exclusively. Meanwhile, almost all the elites are married to women. Uh-oh. Patriarchy is about the advancement of men, and yet the most patriarchal men are married to women. Have children with those women, and more than not have those women living pretty lush and comfortable lives. But patriarchy is exclusively for the advancement of men, they say. Huh. Donald Trump has been married 3 times. All his ex-wives want for nothing. His current wife wants for nothing. Uh-oh. Bashar al-Assad. I remember when the Syrian conflict first jumped off, and one of these hosts on one of the BBC, or BBC as in the news network, tried to shame the wife and said, "Oh, we went to school together. Why are you backing him?" And that wife didn't move an inch. Okay, there's that. Did Laura Bush go anywhere when George W. Bush was bombing the hell out of Iraq? No. Afghanistan? Nope. I said that the wrong way. Afghanistan, then Iraq? Nope. Liz Cheney, did she go anywhere? Yikes, nope. She was married to goddamn Darth Vader. She ain't go nowhere. Huh? Mnuchin wife over here bragging about the goddamn private jet and all the luxury clothes she has. Uh-oh. And we all know he bought her. His little cringy ass. Huh? Vladimir Putin wife look like she going anywhere? Nope. Rupert Murdoch divorced the first wife and then got remarried remarried the Asian wife. And the Asian wife stopped a pie from hitting his face. Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, you're right. Name her Liz Cheney is Dick Cheney's daughter. Sorry, you're right. Right. Mnuchin is really him. Better use his Mnuchin is mean, evil. John Oliver, hysterical, accurate. Right. Huh. So we have Miss Jude Kelly speaking about men, young boys leaning further in to quote unquote misogyny in these online spaces, the manosphere. And she speaks as if she doesn't understand why. And what is kind of frightening is she might not. Huh. I ain't even gonna read it out loud, Trail. I'm not even gonna read it out loud. Condoleezza never been married and she don't got no kids. I'm just saying. I don't even need to say anything else. Right? Huh? Huh. So I'm going to continue to cover stuff like this. Shout out to BGS. We not only went mainstream, because I see some of y'all said that in the comments, but they see us as a problem. So buckle up. Right? It's not only that we went mainstream, they see us as a problem and a roadblock in what they're trying to create, which is once again paymaster men that demand and ask for nothing. Subsidize these women and shut the hell up. Right? Subsidize these women and shut the hell up. And once again, KMS, thank you for the super chat. All right. KMS always coming in with the big bucks. You're going to see me, Negro. Now read this. Throws money in your face. Right? And a split Jim says, and thank you for the super chat. Z, I watched Waterworld the other day with Kevin Costner. I haven't watched that movie since I was a kid. And that's the men they want. Half fish brothers who risk their life and then go back to the waters and leave them with the land. Yes. Right? The goal here is that unattractive, unappealing men that women deem as unworthy, still do for women, still provide for women, still hold doors open for women, still put their life on the line for women, while women pursue the attractive, rich, and elite men. Right? Indigo, I saw him say that. I saw what Trail said. It's funny as hell for real. Right? And so you understand we're listening to global elites. This is not no small time thing. This is not no teeny small time thing. These are global elites, movers and shakers. As KMS said, technocrats. These are the people that have the ears of world leaders. These are the social designers. These are the people that tinker with the mechanisms that make a society work. These are those people. And now we're on their radar. And instead of really attempting to grapple with what we're saying, the hypocrisy of women, they're attempting to get us to be comfortable with it. What did Malcolm X say about that? What he said, Novocaine? What did he say about that again? Rest in peace. Right? I recall Malcolm saying something about suffering in silence. If I recall correctly, And so, once again, this is bigger than intimate relationships. I've been saying it. Dear FD, this is bigger than intimate relationships. It starts there, though, at least for the Black community. See, that's the question, right? And Jake says, what happens when the sons of the elite say F that? I think that's when laws start changing backwards. Laws start changing the other way. Laws start changing the other way when too many judges and their sons get hemmed up on child support and false paternity. That's when that happens. Right? That's when that happens. When too many elite are getting hemmed up with the same laws that they pass to hem up working class, lower middle class, working poor men, that's when these things change. If they can no longer find ways to skirt and jump over and duck under some of these laws and statutes and precedents that they set, that's when these things change. We always see it, right? And there's actually was a study on this. that said something along the lines of like only when the top 20% of people want something, that's when it happens, particularly in America. I don't know about globally, but like that they put a number to it, or it was a class to it. It was like pretty much all of us could be asking for something, but it's only when the elite, when it aligns with what the elite want to do, that's when it actually happens. Although top 20 is not necessarily elite. You got to get into the top, 1 or so percent to be considered elite. But yeah. Yeah. Huh. A good point. And Trail says when Barron Trump gets hit with multiple paternity cases, that is one super tall ass young man. He looks like his dad more than the other two, more than Eric and more than Junior. Thank you, Detroit. Top 1 to top 5% is elite. Huh. So while Miss Jude Kelly is speaking, black men already went through. We are the test bed for this type of experiment. I'm here to tell you, Miss Jude Kelly, it doesn't work. Miss Jude Kelly, as a black man born and raised in America, who has first row, right, front row, first hand experiment, excuse me, first row, first hand experience with this experiment, yeah, it doesn't work. Better you said Baron got them Nordic genes. For real. All right. That ain't German, that's Nordic. We're in the wrong part of Europe. Right. And y'all give Z 1 second, y'all talk amongst yourselves. And we're back. So yeah, and that's the thing with me, being part of the black community, seeing how these things actually turn out, right? Over the span of not years, but decades, 5 and 6 decades. So we working on more, not even working on, we're over a half century at this point of this type of experiment of putting the thumb on the scales for the women, advancing the women, right, at the detriment of the men. Let's say that again, because I really need to emphasize that. Not advancing the women in a vacuum, advancing the women at the detriment of the men. And watching as the women show you that they're no more moral than the men, because power corrupts and absolute power corrupts absolutely. That includes for women. So being part of the black community and seeing how that has played out, and watching as women like Miss Jude Kelly speak as if there's not the black community in America, that you can see how this actually turns out in the long run. Huh. That's fascinating. So in other words, they don't care about the actual outcome. It's their worldview that is the prevailing, that prevails over everything. So we really are, oh boy, Ben Shapiro, we're really on feelings over facts right now. We're not talking about the advancement of your economy because women are in the workforce. We understand that. Double the taxes. We understand that. Perpetually in debt because of college loans. We understand that. Perpetually in debt because of credit card loans. We understand that. Right? Consumer debt. We get it. Retail therapy, all this therapy language that women are using, that some men are using now more and more too. I understand Kevin Samuels, rest in peace. I get it. Right. And I'm gonna love me. I'm gonna focus on me some more. Right. That Tia Mowry and what's her face, Jeezy's ex-wife. I'm gonna focus on me some more. I get it. Yeah. But guess what? The black community in America, yeah, we've seen it all. Alexa, play Seen It All with Young Jeezy and Jay-Z, please. Research Twin says, book your trips, brethren. And I said it to and BGS is correct. This thing will manifest differently in different places around the world, depending on infrastructure, in society. But the goal is to, and thank you, Jake, Jenny Mai and Tia Mowry over here with the, I'm gonna love myself more. I'm gonna focus on me. But the goal is to export this Western feminism globally. They're trying to put you men in the Western world, in the developed world, in a pincer move. They don't want the South Korean men to have nowhere to go. They don't want black men in America to have nowhere to go. Right? They don't want white men in America to have anywhere to go. They want to put you in a pincer move and force you to accept their a-hole daughters at 48 years old with frozen eggs. Right? They're attempting to put us in a pincer move. What country was it? Where the women tried to get the men to stop going overseas for wives. It's one of the. It's around Nama's area. Was it Norway? I don't think it was Norway. What country was it? Where they're attempting to keep the white men from importing their Asian wives. It's Sweden. Thank you. No, thank you, Nama. Huh. So it's the pincer move. Block off all the routes to Latin America, block off Africa, block off the Middle East, block off South Asia, Southeast Asia, East Asia, Eastern Europe, all the places that men are going that haven't been completely westernized and don't have this idea that I am women, hear me roar, but you're still going to pay for me. Wait, I'm paying for you to roar on me? What? I'm paying for you to stand on my chest. What? I'm subsidizing you to tell me that you don't need me, nor do you even really want to be around me. Huh. Right? That's another thing, right? And Trust says OT technology and C virus, I hear you, has these kids growing up feeling isolated. One of the most, so we hear all the time about men and their decreased friendship circle and how many of them have no friends and no associates and feel lonely. And we're hearing this in a vacuum because the girls do too. The girls are lonely too. But we can't say that because if we admit that, then we're admitting that our project, may not have worked as well as we hoped it would. Huh. So we always got to say, look, the men are not adopting, the boys are not adopting our weirdo feminist model, and so that's why they feel lonely. See, women, we have networks and we have friends. They don't have friends. We have friends. And y'all like, share, subscribe, hit the super chat. And once again, a split Jim, thank you for the super chat. All right, let's leave that up for a little bit longer. So they're saying, and this is really what it is, because men lack the emotional intelligence, because apparently we got to be taught it by women, right? And we lack the vocabulary because, once again, we have to be taught it by women. I don't know if y'all ever heard hip hop before or rap music. We lack the ability to communicate because, once again, we got to be taught that by women too. And I'm not just saying our mothers. Huh? Because we lack all of these things and we don't know how to make real long lasting friendships and bonds. Y'all tell me how many women y'all know that got friends for 15 and 20 and 30 years, particularly in the black community. But because we supposedly, as men, particularly black men, lack these things, we're isolated. Then the cell phone and social media and this kind of advanced technology has caused us to fracture and to become more and more isolated in a vacuum, because apparently that does not affect the women, the girls. They can't admit that it affects the women and the girls too, because what they would have to admit is that their experiment for this global quote unquote sisterhood, where they're all E and vagina apparently, but this global sisterhood of women fighting against the patriarchy, right? It didn't work. Indigo, I meant it. And Indigo says, I'm paying for you to roll on me. What? It really is, though. That's really what it is. Jake, if this ain't nothing but the truth, I just got fussed out by one of my friends yesterday. Literally a three-way phone call with my lady. This man was fussing me out. Low-key joking, but like for real, you know how we are, dudes. Y'all know I got the Z, so he's like, bro, I'll be sending you things for these car meets and to meet up and blah blah blah. I'm like, bro, I work every day, right? You know. So yeah. And to read Jake's comment real quick, men have friends. We just don't have time to hang out as much as we used to because we're all working. Exactly. Jake also says frenemies. Yeah, okay. That really, they don't have friends. They have frenemies. And Trell says after patriarchy, anarchy. Well, and let them deal with what happens during anarchy. Right. So I'm not going to keep you guys here too long. Thank y'all for listening. This shout out to BGS once again. The elder keeping his finger to the wind, his ears to the streets, right? Coming in with the important information. Yes, we made it mainstream. Y'all can have y'all moment of celebration. Mr. Z is still looking out to see, okay, what's the next shoe to drop? Because they're not just going to leave this. I'm telling y'all, shout out to Black Ooh. They're going to try to get the money from us somehow. Get ready for $1,000 Xbox subscriptions. They're going to try to get the money from us somehow. They're going to try to get us to socialize us, and it's really not us because all of us are too old. But really, the boys, they're going to attempt to socialize the boys to still adhere to some type of weirdo chivalry where you don't expect anything in return. I promise y'all that's the next step. Right? I promise y'all that's the next step. Indigo, remember him saying that? He says it. He has said it multiple times. But the first time I heard him say that, I damn near fell out. I'm not gonna read it out loud, but oh yeah, actually I can. Somebody gotta pay for these Cheerios. Remember we saying Cheerios now? Yeah, yeah. Right. Shout out to Black Uru. The first time I heard Black Uru say that, I damn near fell out. And it's true. Someone has to pay for these Cheerios. And the goal is to socialize our sons, not any of us. We're too old. If you're in your 20s, if you're in your 30s, if you're in your 40s, if you're in your 50s, I got a couple of brothers in their 60s that are subscribed to me. We're too old. They're going to try to get the boys 5, 7, 12, 15 years old to be chivalrous. As a matter of fact, did or did not FD signifier, and I didn't understand what he was saying when he said it. That's my bad. Shout out to Black Uru for correcting that. But didn't he bring that up the first time we spoke? Absolutely not. And by the way, that's what Miss Jude Kelly was talking about. That's the reverse psychology thing she tried to pull. Right? Oh, I get that. And Jake says, Z, you didn't hear about the gambling apps garnishing a dude's winnings for child support? It's happening. Wow, wait. For his own child support or for like some general child support? Because if it's for the child support that he didn't pay, then of course, like that's understandable. But if it was for just child support payments for random people, that would have been different, right? Right? And Detroit said, I ain't paying ish. Look, Detroit, I don't think they're going to, it's not going to be in your face tax. It's covert money. It's, look, man, we're black. We know how this goes. We know the system knows how to target us directly. This society knows how to target. And as a matter of fact, that's why I post. Oh, actually, I need to post that. Did I post it? No, I did post it. But I need to emphasize this. Our society knows how to weaponize its economy against other nations, right? Let alone for its domestic population, right? For its native population. It'll be nothing for the US government to look at the industries that are 60, 70, 80% man and above, and then tax those at an alarming rate, right? And put it under a quote-unquote entertainment tax, as Black Uru said once. And in that way, they could tax men in a way to subsidize women that does not look like that's what they're doing. And it's benign enough where it still hits a number of women and doesn't look like it's a sexist tax against men. Like it's a misandrist tax. Right? Trail is a real thing, and Trail says poor black taxes in the guise of fees and services. As a matter of fact, what documentary I was watching, and they showed you actually had this happening in Ferguson. That was one of the things in Ferguson with after Michael Brown, rest in peace, and what happened with him, the deletion of him by the right racist cop. They did research into that, and like only a few percentage of the population of police officers were black and were from Ferguson. And like what it was like 80 some odd percent, 90% of the police force was white and from outside of Ferguson, and yet Ferguson's being it's colonial crap. It's colonial. White folks from out of town or from the next city up or from another county policing these black folks that they think they're better than. And I would argue, wait, did I just describe the black community? Anyway, I would argue that that's the goal. Taxing men to have women as the buffer class between them and elite, pretty much white men, but elite men. Right. I think that's the goal. And no placeholder says we got to get in position in government to avoid abuse of PW. I think you mean BW. Do you mean black women? No placeholder. Right. Right. Yeah. And Charles says Detroit. It happens all over America, but Z is talking about Ferguson, Missouri. Yeah. Yep. I was watching and Namer says this is common in SoCal. I was watching a documentary and they covered was it the Bay Area? They covered Oakland, and the sister said something and it broke my heart. And she started to tear up. I think she might have actually cried. So I almost cried watching it. And she was saying they're pushing us out, they're pricing us out, and they don't feel like we're moving fast enough, so they're deleting us. And that hit Z right in the feels. Right? So yeah. And Prodigy says, wow, the Manosphere done made it to the World Economic Forum. Check out the links in the description, Prodigies. So I have the radio the radio clip of Miss Jude Kelly speaking to World Economic Forum for the World Economic Forum radio, and then I have BGS breaking it down. So that's the second link. So yeah, shout out to BGS because he's the one who brought it to the space. Shout out to BGS. Oh, you meant power. Okay. So let's read that again. And no placeholder says we gotta get we gotta get positions in government to avoid abuse of power. Yes. Okay. And thank you for the super chat. No placeholder. Okay. And I agree. Right. Oh, that goes without saying. And Namath says, how about New Orleans after Hurricane Katrina? That goes without saying. Right. They use that as a way to quote unquote clean up New Orleans. Right. While George W. Bush was literally flying in a plane overhead looking down out the window. I'm not joking. For all of you young dudes, y'all were too young. Some of y'all were born already, but y'all were too young. Ask the elders if I'm lying. He was literally on Air Force One looking out the window. That's why Kanye was like, George W. Bush does not like black people. Right. Huh. So, okay, y'all. On that note, because I know Dr. Thunder is streaming and I'm in the way. So we covered this. Shout out to BGS. Thank you, BGS, for bringing this to the space. It was very important. Yeah. Oh yeah, and Peter, you said and pointing, LOL. Shout out to all of us that thought it couldn't get more comical than George W. Bush and then Trump. Trump said, "Oh, hold my beer." I know, even for some of you Trump supporters, let's be honest. Come on, let's look. You can level with Z. I ain't gonna throw it in your face. I'm not gonna throw it in your face right now. I'm not gonna throw it in your face right now. But let's be honest. Look, for all of us, that's like, okay, this is a ish show. This George W. Bush stuff is insane. And then Trump walked into the room. Right? Said, hold my beer. Let me show you what it looked like for real. Right? So yeah. On that note, everyone, we will pause right there. Love, peace, and chicken grease. I had to cover this today because BGS covered it. I thought it was fire. Great job. Um, Miss Jude Kelly, no, absolutely not. No, we're not signing up for this. Wait, subsidize your condescending, mean, rude, elitist, wannabe elitist daughters? We're supposed to still be patriarchs in a way that's palatable and pliable for women. Once again, patriarchy by feminist specifications. I said it. I know there was people that didn't get it. It's oxymoronic. Yes, it is. It contradicts itself. Yes, it does. But that is the goal. Patriarchy by feminist specification. Excuse me. Patriarchy by feminist specifications. Translation: pick and choose which parts of patriarchy we want with which parts of feminism. They don't actually want to get rid of paymaster, quote unquote, protector men. They don't want to get rid of the chivalry part. Now they're trying to find all type of weird ways of speaking about it now. Benevolent patriarchy, right? And such, non-toxic patriarchy, etc., etc. And all that means are men that still believe manhood denotes, quote unquote, taking care of women, right? And looking out for women while not expecting anything in return, or was expecting non-sexual, non-romantic favors and gestures in return. Right? Huh. Good luck on men signing up for that. Oh, I believe this. And PK says, of course we did, and it isn't surprising why we did. It was a guarantee, either in open or behind closed doors. As I've mentioned countless times, we are all being watched at a very high level. Some people don't like to believe it. Yeah, I know what you're saying. Right? Show your old ass. No, I'm playing, Trell. And Trell said that he was 48 when Katrina happened. Yeah, Trell. Yeah, it heartbreaking. Still to this day. Right? So, yeah. When they say the meek will inherit the earth, you got to believe black people are in there somewhere. Trell said, no honey, no money. Trell put it the other way around. Trell said, no, it ain't no money, no honey. It's no honey, no money. I concur. Right? And on that note, y'all, let me say this for Indigo so he can get his chuckles in. Look, I'm not paying for you to roar on me. What the hell? I am woman, hear me roar. Roar over there. Go roar in the corner. Go roar on some other women. But what's not going to happen is Mr. Z and other black men subsidize you and pay you to roar on them. Get out of here. I'm sorry, Ms. Jude Kelly, we're not doing it. Have fun trying to socialize the boys, not even the men, the boys, in accepting women's newfound power over them. Right? PK, I'm going to do an open panel in the next day or two. We'll talk about it. I might actually be able to do a panel early tomorrow. So that's the goal. Tonight, me and my lady and a couple of friends are hopefully going to see the Godzilla and King Kong joint. I know Dr. T said him and his son went to go see it last night. So, yeah. If he does a review on it, I might try to jump on that panel. But yeah. Right. And shout out to Dr. T Hassan Johnson. Right. So on that note, everyone, we will pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all have a great rest of y'all great rest of y'all day. KMS, thank you for the super chat once again. Split Jim, thank you for the super chat once again. And no placeholder, thank you for the super chat once again. I'm gonna probably try to start doing that from now on, which is thanking y'all at the end for the super chat, so we can, that would be a nice closeout. Yeah. So y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. I think Dr. Thunder is streaming right now. The Roger Report will be streaming in about an hour. So yeah, y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Go enjoy your weekend. Right? When they say go touch grass, this lady brought go touch grass. Anyway, right? And y'all have a great. Wait, was it her? I might be mistaking her for somebody else. Who said go touch grass? It wasn't just FDC. Somebody just said that, and I watched it. I can't remember. Anyway, y'all have a great rest of y'all day. And PK, what is the channel's name now? And PK says, go watch my vid. Put the link down real quick. Before I close out, put the link so I could click it. I'm waiting for you, PK. No pressure. All right. So give me a second. Let me make sure I'm in a position to actually click that link. Okay, there we go. Boom. Okay, I got you. All right, y'all. Y'all have a great rest of y'all day. Red Falls Black. Thank you. Red Falls Black says patriarchal eunuchs. Exactly, right? What Obsidian calls it again? Community eunuchs. Exactly, right? Prodigy says since most women are teachers, the boys may be easy to socialize. Yeah, that's right up until they become that's right up until they start dating. That's right up until they hit puberty and they start interacting with girls and then they become men interacting with women. I am not saying that women owe men adult fun, let's say. I'm not saying that. I am saying women think that men owe them men's presence, men's protection, men's provision, and it doesn't work that way. Right? So, Prodigies, I hear what you're saying. Yeah, they can socialize those boys right up until those boys become adults, or if even that long, right until those boys hit puberty and they really see how the society is lopsided towards girls and women. You can try to socialize them all you want. Isn't that what our mothers tried to do in the Black community? Goddamn, Z. How many of us, our mothers tried to socialize us to be okay with the gynocracy? And there's a Black manosphere, is it not? Okay. It don't work, not in the long run, and not for most men, because what you're asking men to do is to not believe their lying eyes. Right? Don't believe your experiences. Don't believe the way you feel. Yes, I said feel. Ignore your experiences. Ignore what's happening to your friends. Ignore what your mother did to your dad in front of your face, what your aunt did to your uncle in front of your face. Right? Ignore all of that. So it doesn't work in the long run, not for most men. Right? Now, some of us are better at pretending. Shout out to you, Derek Jackson. Some of us are better at pretending. Shout out to you, FD Signifier. Some of us are better at pretending. Shout out to you, Boyce Watkins. Some of us are better at pretending. Shout out to you, Steve Harvey, that it isn't what it is. Some of us are better at pretending, but we all see what it is. We all know what this is. Shout out to you, Foreign Man in a Foreign Land, Ed and Eddie. That's Eddie, Alvin, and Josh. Shout out to you, Professor Odie and Consciously. Some of us are better at pretending, but we all know what this is. Phony Askins. Tony Gaskins. Right? So on that note, y'all, we would truly pause right here. Love, peace, and chicken grease. Y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content, and thank you for that, Prodigy. And Prodigy says, okay, makes sense. Yeah, brother, our experiences are real, and these people are trying to socialize us to either ignore it or they're trying to explain it away. Well, she has choices too. She's not obligated to you. She doesn't owe you that. You're right, she doesn't. And let me show you what I don't owe her. Oops. Better you. Better you don't like this dude for nothing. Better you, like, Charles doesn't mess with what's his face, Brandon Tatum, and better you does not mess with Tony Gaskins for nothing. And for BGS, it's what's his face? The Economist. Is it right there? It's right there. It's the one they always throw in our face. The conservative one. His face is a fake ass Carlton. Oh, I forgot his name. His face is right there. Jesus Christ. Okay, I forgot. Look at Z. Look at Z. I was making a point and I lost it because I forgot the damn name. Anyway, on that note, y'all go check out other Black Manosphere content, other non-Manosphere content. Not Milton Freeman. The Economist. Thomas Sowell. Thank you, Meteor Man. Thomas Sowell. Thank you, Trill. Thomas Sowell. Yeah, that person, that guy, right? And if you ever watch his interviews, oh boy. Look, no one, I said it to y'all, no one understands race and is more fearful of white folks than the people y'all see tap dancing. The people that tell y'all it ain't that serious, or Black people are their own worst enemy type talk, those are the people that so understand the power of white folks. And I'm not saying white people are inherently powerful. I mean the system that their ancestors created. Yeah. Shout out to Thomas Sowell. Anyway, on that note, y'all have a great rest of y'all day. And Mr. Z out.